Hey guys, in this episode, we're going to discuss the film Tomb Raider. We're going to talk about Alicia Vikander and what we thought of her as Lara Croft, and our thoughts of the Tomb Raider reboot overall. This is episode 24 of the Reel-ists podcast. Hey guys, it's Donnie.
And Oscar.
And our producer, Ruben.
Hi.
Hey, Ruben said. No, he didn't say it like that. He said hi. And once again, we have a reoccurring guest, who is a very special guest. Friend to the show now, Scott.
Hey.
Thank you for joining us.
Surprised us when he was like, I seen that movie. I was like, perfect.
Yeah, I know. That was awesome. Like, oh, okay, sweet. You'll just stick around for both episodes. That's the first time.
This is Brokeback Mountain, right?
Was it?
No. sorry, wrong film.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
This is Call Me By Your Name, right?
Hang in there.
Real quick before we get into it, want to thank our listeners. Thank you guys so much for continuing to listen to us and support us. Remember that you can always find us on social media. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Team Reel-ists. It's Team REELISTS, no dash. And if you guys can just please continue to share us with your friends, your family, coworkers, anyone you know.
Like this. Hey, Scott. How's it going?
I'm well, thank you.
Have you heard of the Reel-ists podcast?
I have not.
You totally should. It's awesome. They talk about movies, and I connect with them.
Wow. Thank you.
Just like that. Just like that. Oscar, perfect. Thank you very much.
That's actually our normal conversations.
Oh, that's how you guys talk?
It really is.
Hi. How are you?
You almost have to
That's a weird way to conversate. One more thing. Remember, you can check us out on Thursdays. That's when we're putting out our new episodes. Unless you guys are like, boo, we don't like Thursdays.
We want Fridays.
Try a different day. Then, maybe we can talk about it. But for now, it's Thursdays.
We need to hear you guys talk if you guys want that.
Yeah.
Your voices.
Remember, closed mouths don't get fed. And also, really quick, just want to warn you guys that this is our official spoiler alert. So if you have not seen this movie, you know what to do.
Oh my God,
press
don't
pause.
Spoil it.
Yeah.
Am I doing it? Did I do it right?
Yeah, no, you actually did. Try one more time.
Again?
Yeah.
Oh my God, don't spoil it.
Perfect. You're going to do it from now on. You do.
That's your job? Nope.
That has been assigned to Oscar now. Oscar's in charge of that. So Tomb Raider. Lara Croft is the fiercely independent daughter of an eccentric adventurer who vanished years earlier. Hoping to solve the mystery of her father's disappearance, Croft embarks on I don't know that word. Perilous journey to his last known destination.
No one's reading it off you.
A fabled tomb on a mythical island that might be somewhere off the coast of Japan. The stakes couldn't be higher as Laura must rely on her sharp mind, blind faith, and stubborn spirit to venture into the unknown.
Why do I feel that need to dun dun dun?
I know, right? The unknown. Dun, dun, dun.
Was that the trailer? I feel like that was a trailer that you just described. Will she make it out alive?
That was actually my Match.com profile.
Yeah, that's a hell of a profile. So, guys, what are your initial thoughts on Tomb Raider?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought it was good. Just good, fun action movie.
Yeah, I didn't compare it to the video game itself or the Angelina Jolie myself. I don't know about you guys.
Did you play the video game?
Briefly. Not like I finished the game and be like, oh, I know exactly what happens. I really just enjoyed it. I liked her adventure. It had that Indiana Jones-esque like feeling of, just doing something completely dangerous, but just because you need to, save your father, or at least find out what happened to him. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the plot of it and the blockbuster entertainment to it that it provided.
Yeah. I think Angelina Jolie's versions for both of them, she was just that badass, nothing can go wrong. She's going to be perfect at everything she does. It was great, and it was totally the video game just on film, but this made it a little more human.
Yeah.
It showed a little more emotion in her, and it was just, I think, an overall good picture.
I agree. I think this one was a little bit differently. Like, Alicia Vikander brought something different because, like you said, the one with Angelina Jolie, I feel like as soon as the film started, like, she was the Tomb Raider.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
She was in the throes. Like, we were right in the middle of it, and she knew what she had to do. She was confident. She was bold, like she knew nothing could go wrong.
Yeah.
Whereas this was kind of more like an origin story of how she became Tomb Raider. So then why what motivated her to go on these missions and things like that. So now it was a different portrayal. It was because I feel like she brought it was more it was more uncertainty, and like kind of like what I read, like the whole blind faith thing. Like she was just kind of doing things and not knowing maybe the repercussions or the consequences.
Yeah.
Where I feel like with Angelina Jolie, when she would do something as Lara Croft, she did not fear the consequence, like because she was just that fearless. That's kind of like what I got from it.
Yeah, it was almost like Angelina Jolie was like, "Oh, I'm gonna backflip off this cliff and land on my point of my toe, and I'll be completely fine." Even with this one, there's some really cool twists and turns that I did not expect. Getting to the end of the movie and finding that the queen's not really like a witch. It's something actually completely different. Mm-hmm. Whereas with the original Tomb Raiders, this little triangle will stop time and you can go back and do this and this and this.
Sounds like a video game.
Yeah. So this definitely had that fun little twist of reality, I guess, included in the video game side of it.
Mm-hmm. It was a little, I agree. Like, it seems like it was a little more, like, with the Angelina, I don't want to keep referencing that one, but those films, there was a little more, like, I guess, magic infused into them.
Yeah.
Whereas this film, like you said, we thought it was, like, this witch at the end, or this,
like enchantress
kind of thing. But it was, like, kind of something that, I mean, could kind of be realistic.
Yeah.
Like, it was, like, kind of disease plaguing,
and
they were trying to contain it. So that was cool, and that was a little twist that I
did not expect that at the end. Me too.
I mean, I will say the plot was kind of straightforward. You kind of knew where the jumps were going to come. The little things that were supposed to be like reveals, like her dad being alive, weren't necessarily like shockers in that sense. It was like, oh, I'm not surprised he's alive, kind of thing. Once I saw he was alive, I was like, I'm not going to be surprised if he dies.
Yeah.
And so, like, it did have that predictability factor into it. But I think that kind of just helps you to kind of just stop looking at it through, like, what's different and more of just looking at it of how is she going to get out of this situation. And I think that's what a lot of the movies that you see a venture for. It's not necessarily of, like, how realistic is this being done, but more of, like, okay, you put yourself in a cave. How are you going to get out of this cave?
Yeah.
Right? Like, now you're with the bad guy. How are you going to get out with the bad guy? And It was always more... And I think that's what was the entertaining side for me, was just like, I just wanted to see it play out.
Yeah.
Rather than, I really want to know, how is this, disease even there in the first place? Was it like, I wasn't really into the make it realistic too much for me. Like, make me feel like she can actually be real. I kind of knew that she wasn't, and I was like, all right, now just show me a powerful character.
Yeah.
That's going to, still have that skills. It may not be perfect, but we'll see her grow. And I feel like she did grow from the beginning. She kind of went from, I don't want to say vulnerable, but she definitely she felt like there was something missing with her dad's disappearance. And then jumping to the end where she knew what had happened. She knows what's going on. She was like, I know my role right now and I know what I need to do. So I thought that was cool.
Well, even like when she was in the boxing ring, she totally got her ass kicked. But through the whole film, you see that she just keeps picking herself up over and over and over and over again. Nothing's going to stop her. So I liked that it made her that more of a human portrayal than like a superhero.
Yeah, that's what I like too. And because even I kind of mentioned it to Oscar, but like there were a lot of scenes, like every time she was kind of getting into like a sticky situation. Yeah. And, she was, I told Oscar, I was like, she has like this girly scream. Like it wasn't.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. It was very, very like, just very feminine, like, and, but there were a lot of scenes where she was like kind of screaming out or crying out, which, like as an audience member, that makes me go, okay, like she really is scared, or she really is in pain, or she really is hurting.
Right.
Like that first kill when she. Like,
yeah. You could see like like kind of like the terror in her eyes and like, oh my god. But it's like that
I need to survive.
I need to survive. But it made her so much more relatable. Right. So like it wasn't, even though we know this film is based off of a video game. and Laura Croft willingly puts her life in these situations. But like once again, like this was the kind of her becoming that Laura Croft Tomb Raider character. So like to kind of see her like struggling with it, and or like it made it a lot more realistic. As realistic as an adventure film can be, right?
But even like in that fight scene when the 3 kids stole her backpack, when she first gets over to Japan.
Yes.
She gets her backpack stolen, but she doesn't let it defeat her. She goes after him, but you can tell she's pissed, but she's also scared. What do I do? But it was great to see that nothing was going to stop her. She was that determined.
Mm-hmm. I also like super just like admire how like she like the whole situation with her father, like her father disappearing and not knowing where he went or why he left, why he's gone. And like that was like obviously the main driving force for everything she did. But it's like it was really cool to just see like, man, like just this undeniable love that she has for her dad, and like nothing's gonna stop her from like finding him, whether it's finding him alive or finding out what happened to him. Because she could have easily been like, they were telling her your father's been gone all these years, and maybe it's time to
sign
move
the
on.
Papers.
Pretty much sign the papers, like let's get the ball rolling, like forget kind of move on from that. And she was like, no, like I'm not, like, or she kind of did. And like initially, because she went to sign the papers, right?
At the end.
No, at the beginning though, like she had showed up. That's
before she went.
Before she went on all these adventures,
kind of
like she went to sign the papers, and then the attorney gave her that kind of puzzle thing, and then that's what kind of got the ball rolling, and then she was like, wait, and kind of was like started questioning more, like, okay, I need to go find out what happened to my dad, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I really feel her character's awesome. Her friend, Lou, at first I was like, I don't care for you, but the more I saw him like trying,
Ren,
the more he tried to help everyone. It wasn't just Laura that he was. Laura, did I just say Laura? Is it Laura?
Yeah.
I felt like I changed the name there for some reason. It felt off. It felt like I'm gonna say Mrs. Croft. But then
so formal.
Yeah.
I felt like at first I thought, I was like, okay, no, why would he just care about her? But he really cared about everyone on the island that was a slave in that sense. So I thought that was cool. I really got to grow and like his character. That was awesome. The bad guy, cliche, needs to get it. There's no alternative option. I'm gonna kill you if you don't. I thought forgettable. At least for me, the bad guy, forgettable. Yeah. I don't even know his name. That's the kind of indicator.
Matthias.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, that sounds like that was his name.
You're probably could have said anything. You're gonna be like Steven. I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Jack.
I mean, yeah, he was for sure like a cliche, typical action film villain, like exactly what you said. So that didn't surprise me. I hated him though. Like, I mean, I know, like, yeah, he was hitting all the major points of what a villain should be, but it was just like, oh, like if you do not die by the end of this film, I'm gonna be pissed. So thankfully he did, and it was kind of in a like tragic way, which is fulfilling, right?
Yeah, it was. I kind of looked at him more as like a henchman though, with him referring to his phone and we've got to call somebody else.
Oh yeah,
he always seemed to be kind of like he was the bad guy, but he really wasn't the bad guy. He just seemed that he was overly pissed that he'd been on this island for 2 years and he just kind of had gone nuts. So yeah, he was bad, but I didn't buy into him as much because they did keep referring to somebody else. Well, who is the somebody else? And that started to drive me nuts in the movie. So that was one piece that I really didn't kind of grasp around.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't like how the dad died. I just felt, I was like, really? That's how you go out with this, like, I would have felt like if the bad guy, what was it, Matthias?
John.
Mr. Not Croft. I felt like if the bad guy had done something to the father, it would have been more impactful, but how he went out, I was disappointing in that. It was like not even saving his daughter. And I think that's a troubling thing too. It's like we normally expect almost cliche things when we know it's predictable.
Yeah.
And when it's not what we expect, then it's like, no, I didn't really like how they did that. I felt like, I was disappointed with his death.
Well, so are you saying because you expected him to die at the hands of Matthias, and because he didn't, that's why you don't?
I just felt I was disappointed with it. Yeah, like I felt like it didn't. It was like it's following the plot point, the cliche plot points, but when it differed, then I was like, no.
Well, didn't he even at one point say, I think when Laura first found him, I came here to not just protect you, but basically the world, the whole big dramatic, I'm saving everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like that was written into the story. Okay, now this is going to be how you die because now you're going to fulfill what you just said.
Right.
On page 20.
I didn't even think
the script.
You can't contradict yourself, so now we have to kill you off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. It was, it sounds bad to say, it was very not sad with him dying.
That's true.
It literally was just kind of, okay, you're dying because you're going to quote unquote save the world.
I would have felt more sad if her friend would have died.
Yeah,
I thought he was going to die because he was becoming such a likable character. Like, we started liking him more and more. And like, I started like, when I didn't see him on screen, I started like, oh wait, okay, make sure, like, I was like, pan back to Lou, make sure he's okay, make sure he's still alive. So I thought they were gonna, like, he was gonna take a bullet for Laura or take an arrow for Laura or something, but thankfully it didn't happen.
But maybe in the sequel.
And it totally set us up for a sequel.
Oh yeah.
I read one review and they were saying, I don't know if you guys agree with this or not, but they were saying basically they could have bypassed this whole movie, and where they left off at the end, that's where they should have started the first one. Is basically what they're saying. So they're basically saying they should have took the origin story out.
I felt like
if you guys agree or not.
I obviously, given the way this movie was being made, I felt like it still would have followed a cliche spy kind of, we have to go in the inside and uncover their secrets and expose them kind of thing. I don't feel like it would have been a different movie overall. I feel like you still would have got an adventure movie where she has to go do something. The world's at stake. She saves the day. There's still another bad guy. It's like you cut the head off, two more grow kind of like situation.
And I think really to break out from the original two, they almost had to do an origin story, because if they would have started it, kind of after the fact, it just would have been a remake of
that's true.
Yeah.
So I think by doing this, it allows it to branch off and really kind of create its own genre, its own thing, its own storyline, where doing it any other way, I think it just would have been a copycat.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like, because like we were saying, the older films, like you were right into her, like her full fruition of being Lara Croft.
Yeah,
like that was it.
There was never any.
We didn't get any
with it,
right? And I'm always, I always whine on this podcast like, oh, I want more backstory, I want more like character development, I want more like how did they get to where they're at? Like that's what I'm always like, yakking about. So I got that with this film. So now, like when they do, if they do, but I'm pretty sure they'll have a sequel, because they set us up so perfectly for one. But when they do come with the sequel, I'm going to be like that much more invested in it, because I'm like, oh, I know how she became Lara Croft. I'm right with her. Like, I'm there. Whereas I feel like if they would have if she would have come out like gunslinging and shooting and jumping and doing all this and like, from the get go, then I would have been like trying to catch up and in my mind thinking, okay, well, how did she get here? But it kind of answered all those questions I would have come up with.
Yeah. Well, I know when I was watching it, the scene where has escaped from all the bad guys and, they're chasing her. She gets to the cliff. She's looking over. Hands are tied. Screw it. I'm going to jump in the river. That's, how many feet below me. I kept thinking of the scene from the first Tomb Raider with Angelina, where the guys break into her house and magically she knows how to rope herself up and kill everybody in the room by basically being a trapeze artist. I'm like, how did you do that?
Right.
Where do you learn to do something like that in your own home?
That's
where this one, you could see the panic in her face. I'm going to die if I don't jump. But if I jump, I could die.
Yeah.
So it was, I loved the transition between the two. It just made it a lot more of a, origin story that it's going to make me want to go see the next one now.
That's true. I think the movie is being viewed as a comparison of the video games, and this is a bigger problem with video game adaptations, because when you go see a movie based off a video game, and especially when you play the video game more so, it's like you want to see something different. You're not going to do what you've played. In that case, just go to YouTube and watch the story mode of the game.
Yeah. Exactly.
So this one was based off of a reboot of the game series. I think it came out like in 2011 or 2012. That is very similar in terms of like she's brand new. She's not like an expert at this point. So that's what the storyline is inspired from. And I haven't played the game myself, but I feel like it's a nice compliment when the movie tries to pick up what the game was, but still be different. I don't know exactly where it differs. I know that the bad guy was in the game.
Yeah, this is where we're gonna get a comment. You should really play the game.
I'll make that comment.
Someone send me the console and I will. But I'm just saying overall, like video game adaptation has that tough wall to break through. Like all the adaptations don't get that good like praise. Like a lot of it has always been harsh. Mm-hmm. And I think the studios just need to work on take what the character is from the video game.
Yeah.
Take a story that you are inspired from, but make it different. Not necessarily make it different where it's like now she's not an archaeologist, but now she's a linguistic or something. Like don't change it like that. But like I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts about like video game adaptations overall? Because that's like the biggest thing with this movie is that it still did not cross that like, oh, this is a well adapted video game.
Well, that was my fear going into this because having seen the other two, I was thinking this is going to be a cool reboot. It'll be cool to see what they do now versus X amount of years ago. And it was a nice surprise that it was not anywhere near what I thought it was going to be. And it was kind of it's got the title of the game. It's got the character of the game. That's about it. Like everything else. Yeah. Everything else is its own story.
Right.
And that's what I really appreciated about it.
Yeah.
I agree. And I also, there was another article. I didn't read it, but I just saw the headline and it said something like people were disappointed because it is kind of like a shallow thing. I can't even, they said that Alicia Vikander wasn't busty enough. Like how the Lara Croft, even the video game character, she's very just like voluptuous. And they were saying that the reason why people can't really see Alicia Vikander as Lara Croft is because she didn't have the same kind of figure.
What?
And I was like, that's so stupid. I mean,
I saw her as Tomb Raider.
Right. I mean, and obviously it's when you see like Angelina Jolie's movie poster and you know
exactly, it's the game cover.
Right, it is. It really is. And with this one, it's not. But I don't think that it should be like a deterrent. Like, oh, don't go see this film. She looks nothing like the video game player. Like,
well, I mean, there's difference between this and how she was slightly different versus Super Mario, where they're like completely different and like That one, I couldn't even be like, that's the game. I felt like that was a mock more so than an actual adaptation of the game.
It was like a...
like, even the bad guy. Spoof. Yeah, like, that one is one I would be like, yes, don't go watch this because it's nothing like the video game, and not even the character appearance. But this one, I think you have... Yeah, I mean, maybe because I don't look for that in the game. Like, to me, the look of the character only goes so far into similar clothing or something like that. Like, especially with comic book movies. I don't want necessarily the comics adaptation of the costume in real life. I just want the style or the theme of it.
Yeah.
So that's I think that's me being able to take that away and just be like, okay, I'm not looking for a straight, depiction of the video game. I'm just looking for Lara Croft and her adventure and being different.
And like this is a new adventure, maybe, like it doesn't have to necessarily follow this exact premise of the video game.
It doesn't even have to be in the video game universe. Like the whole video games can have their own series of like these are adventures, and she can have a whole different path. Like the way The Walking Dead does that. Has its comics, but has a show, but they're on their own different course. They're not matching you like, oh, this character died now, therefore this guy is gonna die in the comics. Like they don't talk. I think that's a good thing when you're doing an adaptation. It's different, and it's kind of tough too, because then you get into the issue of book adaptations, where it's like you only have one book. Do you do an exact copy, or do you just take the theme and the characters and it's an interesting topic, I will say.
Yeah, I was just, as you were just saying that, in my head, I'm like, this is a whole nother conversation. That would be interesting. Like, not saying like, shut up. I was just saying like, that would be a good kind of topic to discuss further in detail. Like,
ooh, let us know, listeners. Do you guys want us to go into topic conversations? We'd be more than happy to.
So with that said, Oscar, you're funny. With that said, do you guys have like a standout scene, our favorite scene? Or a character, something that stood out.
I'd say probably my favorite scene was when she was on the plane, the rusted old just bag of bolts that was on the cliff. Mm-hmm. So she's going down the river, and you're panicking now because she's like, well, where's she going? Then she gets onto the wing. Okay, the wing starts to break. You can see the panic in her face. Just the whole scene of how it worked out. I felt very
so many things had to go right.
Oh yeah,
for all that.
Yeah,
I am not like. I was watching that and I was like, oh my God, like so many things had to go right for her to survive.
Yeah. What I loved though is you could see it in her face was the crap.
Yeah.
So you could see that she's trying to calculate.
Was it that scene? Didn't she say something like,
yeah.
Oh, she said something like that.
Like,
oh, here we go. Yeah. Oh, come on. Yeah. When it was about to, and then thankfully she grabbed the parachute which I didn't even know what that was. I was like, what is she grabbing at? Did you know it was a parachute when she was reaching for it?
Did it have a photo? I think
it did. I wasn't going to say anything, but
okay.
Brought it up. Awkward.
Busted.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite scenes, just because it was fun to watch.
Your airplane knowledge.
Seriously.
We're going to lose airplane followers.
Gonna lose flight attendant listeners and pilot listeners.
Just lost sponsorship from Southwest. Thanks a lot.
Sorry.
And that parachute company.
What about you?
My standout scene, I have two. Because I guess I can I have multiple favorites?
No.
I liked her fight with that bad guy that tried to like take her back in that like rainy moment in dark.
Mm-hmm.
Because it really defined like she's putting all her strength into win. This isn't a boxing match that she was practicing where it's okay for her to be knocked down and stuff. If she did not win, it's possible she could have got killed.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like he was like okay with like following his orders, but I don't think he would have a problem with killing her.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially when she attacked. It was like, all right, I'm killing you. You're trying to kill me. And then the second favorite scene was when they did approach the tomb, because you just know that's a moment where not everyone there is going to survive. It was just like, all right, I think you're going to die first. I think you're going to die.
I did the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, all the guards, you're not going to be needed. Oh, there you are. Okay, you're not going to be needed either.
Yep, exactly. So it was just funny. It was like one of those like, all right, they should have just paused the movie and be like, who should die? Dun, dun,
it was
dun,
like those
dun.
Indiana Jones movies, like where everybody's going into a certain room or whatever, and you're like, okay, he's going to live.
Right.
The other girl, she's going to live. Okay, you, and you. Who's going first?
You walked first. Oh, like
exactly.
like the
not a matter of if, but when.
When?
like the maze part too. Like, well, not the maze, but like the part where the floor started to fall apart.
Mm-hmm. All the like booby traps.
Yeah.
That was actually my favorite scene. Was like all
cool.
the booby traps and the different ways that they were.
That should have been the entire movie. Like that review should need to go.
That's what the sequel will be, though. I think
more of that.
Hopefully,
more of the maze.
Tomb Raiders.
Tomb Raider 2. Two Tomb Raiders. Is that what you said? Oh, no, there's not two Tomb Raiders. There's one Tomb Raider.
It's going to be her and Angelina Jolie. And she comes back as the grandmother.
That would
perfect.
So, see? That would be actually really cool.
I'm your grandma.
I'm telling you, they need me.
It turns out like they're like, what, twin sisters or something? With the same name? No.
Separate
different moms?
Different.
Wait, are we saying that she's still like...
Would they both still be Lara Croft?
Are they the same age? Because if...
That's what I'm saying. Angelina's going to be the grandmother.
It would have to be. That's the only way that makes sense.
The grandmother? Can it just be the mother?
And that would make sense that the son was the dad, and the dad tried to continue what the mom was doing.
See?
And then...
Perfect.
I think we should just be writing and directing the sequel.
Exactly.
We're probably getting like a lot of Tomb Raider fans like, no! That's
what are you talking about?
These guys don't know what the hell they're saying.
And the lady that gets on the elevator, she's the great-great-grandmother.
That plot, I do want to just mention, I didn't see it coming.
Me either.
But at the same time, I was like, I don't care. I was like, I know that they were going to have that, like, the adventure continues, but I was just like, I don't care that you're bad. I feel like she's still not even a big player.
You guys didn't think she was bad? I thought she was bad.
I felt there was something weird about her at the very beginning when they were at the police station. Mm-hmm. There was just something off that I thought there's something just not right.
Right.
So when it shows her at the end, getting on the elevator and, she's put all the pieces together, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But I'm with you. I just am like, was I that vested in her as a character? Not really. Yeah. But something was just, off about it.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, with that being said, final real scores.
Who's first?
We will let you go first.
My real score.
He's never gonna stop talking.
If you wanna discuss your Love, Simon real score some more, you can. Feel free. But
so my Tomb Raider score is just 3. But I really want to talk about Love, Simon.
It's a 3 out of 5. Let's go back to Love, Simon last episode.
Let me pick everything out.
5. I just want to clear what I was trying to say. I feel like it got lost in me talking. No, but Tomb Raider. My score is a 3. It's a 3 because it's a fun adventure. I definitely don't mind seeing it again. Maybe in Spanish. I'm just saying randomly.
What about Korean?
No.
Okay.
iTunes doesn't do Korean. It's just Spanish and French.
He's tried Korean.
I've tried.
I really wanted to watch Justice League in Korean. They didn't let me.
But yeah, no, I really gave it a 3. It's predictable in that sense, but that doesn't stop it from being a fun adventure. I really liked her performance as Tomb Raider, Alicia. Did I say right? Mm-hmm. Okay. For some reason, I thought it was Ashley.
I thought it was Amanda.
No, not like that. No.
I love Diane in that movie.
Olivia did great in this film.
Dukakis?
I can't compare it to the original with Angelina. I got that one right. But I really did like her performance. I felt like she was a believable character, and her vulnerability but courage was really nice to see. And the supporting characters, some stand out like her friend, some predictable, the dad and the villain. So it's a mixture of I know what I'm getting, but at the same time, they're executing it well enough for me to enjoy. And that's why I give it a 3 out of 5.
Okay. I'm honestly right there with you. I do give it a 3 out of 5 as well for a lot of those same reasons. I knew exactly what we were going to get. I knew the movie was going to kind of follow that adventure film formula. And it did. But I was into it. I enjoyed it. It was a fun ride to go on. It's kind of like, when when you're hungry and you're like, oh, let me just stop at McDonald's. It's not the best thing in the world, but I know it tastes good and I'll like it.
Now we just lost McDonald's followers. Thanks a lot.
Did I say McDonald's? I meant McGrady's.
There you go.
McGrady's.
There's McGrady's in Wisconsin going, turn it off.
All right, well, I probably shouldn't use that reference, but I knew exactly what I was going to get, and I got it, and I was satisfied, and I am ready to... I am excited for a sequel. I hope they really do come with that, and...
it depends on the box office. Foreign...
It's been doing good.
Box office is doing better than domestic.
Yeah.
So, maybe.
Scott? I'd probably go 3.5. The script I liked. Script was a little believable in some aspects. And then kind of a letdown on others. For instance, like with the dad, I'm going to save the world. Oh, here's my dynamite. Now I am going to save the world. Those kind of things were a little predictable, but there were some fun little twists. I think that the stunts were cool. The visuals were really great. And I think overall the actors were good. I think this was just a good baseline. It's going to be interesting to see what they do next.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Well, hopefully they heard our pitch of
teaming up with Angelina Jolie. Yeah, I know. That would be...
I honestly feel like that would pull in some box office. Maybe.
I feel like it really would. I feel like that would be... Because then you have all the old school fans with all the new school fans, and...
I don't know. Angelina might break a hip, though. It's been a few years.
Those stunt doubles. They'll make it work.
Hey, watch it. She might hear this, okay? He didn't mean that.
I believe in you. He's a guest.
He's not a regular on the show.
This podcast does not support the opinions of others.
With that said, let's wrap it up. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, listeners, for always tuning in. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you thought about the film. If you liked it, if you liked the one with Angelina Jolie better, or just your thoughts overall, let us know. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and I think that's...
Sorry to any McDonald followers, any McGrady followers.
Yes, McDonald's is amazing.
What other things did we accidentally were rude about?
Just McDonald's, McGrady's, and Angelina Jolie. We apologize.
That could be a country song. Right there, that could be a total country western song. Someone called Dolly Parton.
If anyone that does get that idea, give us credit. Just shout out Reel-ists Podcast for a second.
That's awesome. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Scott, again.
Thank you, Scott, for being amazing.
Duh.
I'm sure we'll have you back.
Cool.
I would hope so, unless he's like, I'm never doing this again.
I don't even know.
He's like, bucket list crossed off.
Right.
Did a
I was
podcast.
just at 7-Eleven and told me to come to your house.
Didn't really give me much of an option.
All you said was, have you seen these two movies?
Come with us and bring a Slurpee.
You qualify.
You're good.
Awesome.
All right, thank you guys.
Thanks, guys.